Hello everyone and welcome back to your channel, and today we are gonna exploring how and why criminal gangs were created and why people join to these criminal gangs. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. The birth of the gang in the midst of poverty and migration. Picture the 19th and early 20th centuries when cities were rapidly industrializing and society was undergoing dramatic changes. Amidst this transformation, a dark force began to emerge: the rise of organized crime and street gangs. The story of how gangs form in one of survival, power, and opportunity, all in the midst of chaotic urban growth. Let's take a journey into the heart of this underworld. Explore how this notorious group took shape. The Irish Gang, a fight for survival. Our story began with Irish immigrants, some of the earliest gangsters in America. They settled in crowded, poverty-stricken neighborhoods like 5 Points in American New York City. In New York City, the Irish gangs fight for survival. Our story began with the Irish immigrants, some of the earliest gangsters in America. They settled in crowded, poverty-stricken neighborhoods like 5 Point in New York City. It was a place where crime and survival went hand in hand. Out of this brutal environment, gangs like the Dead Rabbit and the Bowery Boys emerged. At first, these gangs were seen as a form of protection from the harsh realities of discrimination and poverty, but soon they evolved into criminal organizations. Figures like Mark Reilly and Bill Poole were among the first going notorious, making a name for themselves through brutal street fights and turf wars. The Italian Mafia and the rise of organized crime. As the Irish gangs became dominant, another powerful group was quietly rising: the Italian immigrants. Centered in neighborhoods like Little Italy, these gangs were the seed of what would eventually become the Mafia. This name is very famous for us: Mafia. Men like Joe Masseria and Salvador Morenzano were the godfathers of this environment, engaging in bloody power struggle for control over criminal underworld. Their infamous conflict, known as Castellamar's War in the early of 1930s, set the stage of new kind of organized crime. Out of this bloody war emerged a young gangster named Capone and Lucky Luciano, who revolutionized the Mafia. Luciano recognized that constant infighting was bad for business, so he created a new system. the commission. This was a council of mafia families that was law for cooperation instead of conflict, making organized crime for more efficient, more profitable, and deadlier than ever before. Lucky Luciano and the birth of modern mafia. Lucky Luciano wasn't just a thug, he was a visionary. Rise in the thug street, Little Italy, he quickly rose through the ranks, combining brute force with strategic genius. After eliminating his rivals, Luciano created a national crime syndicate, ensuring the mafia control over everything from bootlegging to gambling. Under his rule, Mafia transformed from a small-time street gangs into well-oiled criminal machine. His legacy would forever shape organized crime in America. Chicago and Al Capone, from the street to the throne. While New York was the birthplace of Mafia, Chicago was where it became infamous. Here we meet perhaps the most notorious gangster in history, Al Capone. The originally from Brooklyn, moved to Chicago under the mentorship of Johnny Torrio. After Torrio was nearly assassinated, the retired Capone seized control. The Prohibition era gave him the perfect opportunity to dominate Chicago's underground, making millions of the illegal sales of alcohol. Capone ruled with an iron fist, whipping out revolts with brutal efficiency. One of the most infamous incidents was the St. Valentine's Day massacre in 1929, where 7 members of a rival gang were gunned down in the cold blood. This act of violence cemented Capone's favor, showing the world that he was not to be trifled with. We will be continuing this discussion in our next video, so make sure you don't miss it. And thank you for your watching, and don't forget to share your ideas.